Hello everyone, good afternoon. Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to the technical session 4F. I'm Ansi Soni and this session will be moderated by me. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation, it is my great pleasure to invite you to the International Conference on Information and Communication Technology, London, United Kingdom. The 8th edition of this conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event was held in London on 20th and 21st of February, and the virtual event will be held today, that is 23rd of February. I hope this session was knowledgeable and interactive session through the day. So in this session, we have 6 presentations. Each presentation will have a total of 15 minutes, in which 12 minutes for the presentation and the remaining 3 minutes for the questions and answers. On 10 minutes, we'll raise a gentle reminder. There is another request to all the participants that you all stay connected with us till the closing remarks. And if you have any query or any update, you can write it to me in the chat box. So just before we get started, I would like to introduce you all to our session chair, Dr. Munthatar Farron. Dr. Munthatar Farron has a background in computer science, psychology, and pedagogy. He obtained his PhD in Education in Information Society at Stockholm University. He also contributed to the field of education by researching and publishing textbooks related to the use of social media for learning, the application of coding when teaching web development, as well as website design and mobile application through various markup and programming language. Welcome to the session, sir.
Thank you so much.
I would like to request our session chair to give welcome remark.
So I'm looking forward to hear all of the papers. I think a lot of the papers being presented today is in line with what the research in this area is moving toward. Specifically, I see that a lot of the presenters are focusing on visual analytics and deep learning and machine learning as well. And I think given the rise of ChatGPT and artificial intelligence, I think we're going to see a lot more research in this area. So I'm really excited to hear the presentations today and hopefully get useful insights from them and ask questions about them as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So I would like to start with the papers. So first, I would like to start with our first presenter, Taskia Tasneem Bahar Udri, to present her paper on analyzing malware from system calls by using machine learning. You may please present with your paper.
Thank you, Mansi. I will be just sharing my screen first. Okay, greetings everyone. This is Taskia Tasneem Bahar Udri from United International University, Bangladesh. I will be presenting our work on analyzing malware from system calls by using machine learning. First, let me introduce my co-authors, Pooja Ghosh, Sumaya Akhtar, Arnisha Akhtar, and Mohammad Mutahharul Islam. So our presentation focuses on problem statement, motivation, objectives, applications, related works, data collection, pre-processing and feature selection, model building, overview of methodology, result analysis, future scope and works, discussion and conclusion, and in the end, references. Problem statement. Android is one extensively used operating system for smartphones, and different applications are operated on Androids, some of which are classified as malware applications. And malware are the malicious software that interferes with the normal functioning of computers, like stealing sensitive data of users. So one way of detecting these malware applications is the system called traces. Thus, the problem statement of our work is analyzing the detection of malware applications from system calls and measuring both malware and trusted applications using machine learning algorithms. Our motivation for this work is to evaluate different applications for the severity of usage of malware applications, securing applications and devices from being harmed, for example, being hacked or sensitive and important files getting stolen, and lastly, decreasing the rate of malware variants from Android applications. So our main objective is to analyze the detection of malware applications from two types of data, that is the trusted and malicious applications, and to provide a predicting system to users so that they are aware of malware variants and secure their applications. The focus of our application is that users can preserve their social accounts from being hacked and save their sensitive information. Companies can also secure their devices and important or confidential files from threats. Banks can save credit card or financial data of consumers from being stolen. And lastly, users can protect themselves from any sort of unintentional website selection. Here we have arranged some of the recent works similar to ours and their findings. We can see that Zhang et al. In their work have built their own malware detecting system along with their own dataset and analyzed system calls, whereas Anani et al. Have suggested global feature selection methods which they compared on different machine learning and deep learning models. Again, Rana et al. Conducted a study where they have used four tree-based machine learning models with feature selection techniques to identify the Android malware. Omar et al. Have examined different techniques and factors to detect malware, and finally, Abdur Rahman et al. In their work have used matrix representation of system calls generated from Linux kernel. In data collection and preprocessing, we have utilized an existing dataset consisting of 4,949 samples created from the external and internal storage of Androids, which we preprocessed into 15,036 samples, where the trusted applications are 9,476 and malware applications are 5,560 samples into a 2:1 ratio. For data preprocessing, we extracted three feature selectors, namely mutual information, greedy stepwise search, and discriminative feature selection. By mutual information, we maximize the relevant data and minimize the redundant data of the dataset. Then we select the best features by forward selection and eliminate the useless variables with backward selection and generated new subsets of the best features with greedy stepwise search for feature selector. And with discriminative feature selection, we selected the most discriminative features from the dataset to maximize the correlation of two views and provide better accuracy. For model building, we have used 7 machine learning models, namely random forest, support vector machine, decision tree, naive-Bayes classifier, extreme boosting, k-nearest neighbor, and adaptive boosting. The reason for specifying these classifiers is as we are detecting malware of two types of data, that is, we are performing binary classification. The classical models like support vector machine, k-nearest neighbor, decision tree, naive-Bayes provide a better accuracy. And again, random forest and adaptive boosting, these two ensemble models are an ideal approach to reduce biases and variances, so accuracy of models are enhanced. And for high speed and performance of prediction from a binary dataset, extreme boosting performs better in terms of other machine learning models. So this is the overview of a methodology. The methodology was designed in a way where at first we have taken a data set of applications generated by a system called data. The applications are mainly of two types, trusted and malware, which was then preprocessed. After preprocessing of the data, the machine learning models, random forest, support vector machine, decision tree, naive-Bayes, k-nearest neighbor, extreme boosting, and adapt boost were implemented on the train system called data. The implemented models generated the test data, which was then evaluated. To measure the performance of the test data, the performance metrics, accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score is analyzed. After evaluation, we get our best performance output for detecting malware applications. The performance table of the machine learning models under the evaluation matrix shows that among all the models, decision tree outperforms with an accuracy of 0.985, that is 98.5%, and naive-Bayes classifier performed least with a weighted accuracy of 0.695, that is 69.5%. The model-wise performance measure and class-wise accuracy on different machine learning models is shown in the given bar chart and line chart. Both the charts show that even though the models performed quite close to the other, decision tree performed better and provided the most accurate detection of malware. Feature scope and works. In the near future, we plan to create and use a malware applications dataset created on Linux kernel On Linux, to identify the system call, the parameters will be set up and the kernel mode switch will be triggered, which retrieves the result of system call. Secondly, we want to propose the malign environment for evolving malware detection in Android, where two representations of feature vector and frequency of the generated system call will be represented. And finally, to apply different deep learning models to achieve further results. Discussion and conclusions. So overall, from the presentation, we can say that system calls generation enables one to see and understand the behavior of Android applications, and the performance of machine learning models on detecting malware applications from system call traces is our main goal of study. And the decision to classify outperformed with an weighted accuracy for a system call of 0.985, that is 98.5% compared to the other classifiers. And in the conclusion, we have added a few references of our work. And thank you. That's all from me. Thanks for your valuable time.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to request our session chair. If you have any question, you may ask.
Yeah, I have just a reflection. In a report I read recently, it said that the Android system was accountable for 47% of all the malware, where iPhone system is less than 1%. Do you think there is a need, instead of focusing on trying to create malware detection systems, that maybe a solution to decrease the malware in Android operating system can be done through a more strict version of examining the app submitted to Google Play Store, the similar ways that Apple is doing? Do you think that's a solution to this problem, or do you think creating better detection systems is the solution?
I guess we can also stop from using malware. So before installing or going on the App Store, we can create a information where before installing or updating any app, the user can get a notified of that the system might carry some malwares and before. But our base work was that we unintentionally often install apps and in our Androids that we use, and sometimes we unintentionally and unknowingly carry malware with our devices. So we try to focus on that side, but we will keep your suggestion in our mind and we'll focus on working that too.
Yeah. Thank you for the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, presenter and our session chair. So next, I would like to invite our second presenter, Marinka Lavanova, to present her paper on deep learning and behavioral analysis of analog amplifiers with negative feedback. You may please start with your paper.
Okay. Dear Chairman, dear colleagues, greetings from Bulgaria. I will try to share my presentation. Can you see it?
No, it does not seem to be shared.
Okay. Okay. I think that
it's visible.
Yes, you can see right now.
Yes.
Okay, I will start. Hello from Bulgaria. And my presentation is with the accent of application of deep learning and behavioral analysis of special electronic circuits. I mean analog amplifiers with negative feedback. And this research is in the scope of our current starting project, exploration, the application of statistics and machine learning in electronics. And the aim of this research is to prepare some predictive behavioral models regarding the constructing and analyzing the behavior of analog amplifiers with and without feedback. And for this case, we use deep learning algorithms. Also, you can see at the end of the presentation that we compare some results from deep learning and other algorithms from machine learning, from supervised machine learning. What about analysis of electronic circuits? It could be done at different levels and domains, and it depends on the understanding and the desire of engineer analyst, because maybe he wishes to understand better the functionality of electronic circuits. So studying and investigating circuit functionality and properties of special cases or in common cases. Also, the engineer analyst will understand their application. So in this work, the behavior analysis is seen as black boxes, and electronic circuits is not presented in their internal structure, but they are seen as black boxes. Also, the functional behavior of circuits at given input signals and obtained output reaction or at given environment conditions also could be taken into consideration. What about the predictive analytics? It's seen that predictive models are very popular right now, including in electronics. So I try to implement predictive analytics at analyzing circuit behavior with negative feedback. For this purpose, the circuit behavior is seen through their mathematical equations at higher level, and I do not interested in detailed mathematical expressions which reveal the specifics of low-level electrical processes. So I can say that predictive analytics is always in support of decision-making, and also it is related to automation of different analytical tasks in this process. So behavior analysis could be done in different theories, as it can be seen, for example, through symbolic and semi-symbolic theory, asymptotic technique, worst case, etc. But recently, artificial intelligence and machine learning also are seen to be very useful for circuit analysis. So we think that in the case of behavior examination of electronic circuits could be used also machine learning and deep learning algorithms. For these purposes, we see amplifier circuit with and without feedback, and wish to predict some behavior of this circuit. When the amplifier is without feedback, it characterizes with some parameters like input resistance, output resistance, voltage gain, and current gain. But these parameters could be changed or improved when the local or global feedback is added. And also in this way, new values of these main parameters could be obtained. Different feedbacks are possible to be realized. For example, series current feedback or voltage feedback on parallel current feedback or voltage feedback, etc. All these feedbacks also changes or improve some of amplifier parameters like gain or input output resistance, and also they stabilizes the output parameters like current or voltage. In this slide you can see analog amplifiers with negative feedback. In their block view, two main blocks are presented, amplifier block and a block of negative feedback, and also how parameters in all these cases could be changed or improved. Also, you can see, for example, for the first circuit with amplifier with negative feedback, we can see this is series current feedback, and gain voltage could be decreased if we obtain such feedback, and the input and output resistance will be increased. In the same way, you can see that the gain of currents will not be changed. And what is the main idea? That we can present all amplifiers in this way through two blocks. For this purpose, we summarize all possible solutions with 1, 2, 3 amplifiers with different feedbacks, local and global. Here you can see a one-stage amplifier with one amplifier, operational amplifier, and a local feedback. And on this slide are summarized different two stages analog amplifiers realized through two different operational amplifiers and local or global feedbacks, and 3-stage, etc. So this is in the main idea that all amplifier block and feedback block could be presented in the way that they are connected between 2 points, and in this case a matrix is constructed. Then the proposed method for predicting some parameters through behavioral analysis of such amplifiers consists of 2 steps. And the first step, the number of stages and availability of feedback is predicted. And on the second stage is pointed out the feedback type. And also after that, some data sets are prepared in the form of this table. The first columns present the data collected when some blocks of amplifier or negative feedback are connected between some points in this constructed initial matrix. For example, when between point 1 and 2 there is a block, we put in the table yes, and when there is no block, no. Then when there is feedback, local or global, also this is indicated. And some parameters also, how they changed during the feedback also are presented. And then the values that could be predicted is the number of stages, 1, 2, 3, etc. And availability of feedback, and also the type of this feedback. For this purpose of predictive behavioral analysis, 2 different neural networks are created. This artificial neural networks predicts the number of stages and availability or not of a feedback, as the input parameters are considered the connections between 2 matrix points. And the next artificial neural networks predicts the type of the negative feedback, which could be for different types. The input parameters of this artificial neural network is 6 variables: number of amplifier stages, availability of a feedback, the main parameters of the amplifier, and the output parameters is just the feedback availability and the type of this feedback. Also, the accuracy and the performance of these constructed artificial neural networks is evaluated as their initial state consists of 2 hidden layers with 15 and 20 neurons, and the activation function is chosen to be rectifier as the most used in such cases. 70% of the data set are used for learning and 30% for testing. And the predictions of the number of stages and feedback type are characterized with high accuracy, about 85%, and the prediction of the feedback availability about 87%. Absolute errors and truth mean squared errors are also very small, as you can see here on these diagrams. The second neural network also is evaluated. Then we decided to see is it possible to achieve better results. So the bigger number of neurons are added in hidden layers, for example, 50 neurons for each layer, and you can see that the obtained accuracy is very high. For example, 96%, and the achieved errors are very small, as you can see on this slide: absolute error, root mean squared error, and accuracy. In conclusion, I can say that this is one very interesting approach for behavioral analysis of analog amplifiers without and with negative feedbacks, local or global, which is based of artificial neural networks. Also, through experimentation is proven that the high performance of the constructed neural networks is achieved as they are prepared with 2 different hidden layers with 50 neurons in each layer. Also, the results among 3 different classifiers, deep learning, decision tree, random forest, also are used to compare which of them is the best for this situation. The method is proposed to support the decision-making process of an engineer analyst and also to facilitate the high-level behavioral analysis of electronic circuits. And in this case, the demonstration is conducted through amplifiers with and without negative feedback. And such approach is very suitable for automation of some analytical engineering tasks and also for integrating in currently available CAD software tools. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you for the presentation. I have just 2 questions. Out of curiosity, what kind of practical applicability do you see for individuals in society using this research with ANN? Do you see any practical benefits for individuals using this?
Yes, of course. I think that machine learning and deep learning is in the future of more intelligent computer-aided design tools and applications, because in this time, the effort for designing and analysis of different circuits in special cases or in more general cases will be very supportive for analysts or designers of electronic circuits. So I think that this is the future. To see how to summarize all these achievements or to prepare different methods in the area of electronic circuits, because the speed between laboratory practice and manufacturing also will be decreased this time, and the effort too.
Do you see any risks of using ANN in a broad way in society? Are there any risks? Should I ask?
Yeah, my research actually shows that artificial neural networks, they are utilized everywhere in different domains, in different areas, because they have possibility to predict some events, processes, or some other facts maybe, and give a good possibility for analysis of historical data, for example. Because in our society, we collected a big amount of data, and we wish to give the best of this data. And I think that this is one very nice way to extract the knowledge that exists in this data through machine learning and deep learning and other methods from supervised or unsupervised learning, etc.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and our presenter. Okay, next, I would like to invite Alberto Velasquez Fernandez to present his paper on mobile application system with Arduino to improve the communication process with hearing impaired people. You may please present your paper.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Alberto Velasquez Fernandez. I was working with a colleague from the North Private University, Michael Cabanillas Carbonell. I will present the paper Mobile Application System with Arduino to improve the communication process with hearing impaired people. It is a four-part structure: introduction, methodology, result, and discussion, and finally, conclusion. Introduction. Because people are bonded, they shall not be adequate stimulated with that language of their environment, and as a consequence, they also have a speech disability. The difficulty of communication between people with hearing impaired and people with hearing normal due to ignorance of sign language, where that combination of gesture, movement of figures, and tongue, it is a methodical language where meanings that each gesture there is no universal sign language. Regarding rules, emerging technologies in people with disability, que auditory communication toys that replace and support natural speech are rapidly increased, and there are currently many related research papers with the translation or recognition of various sign language around the world based on different methods. Methodology. It includes methods that facilitate and make it possible to obtain the necessary technique for investigate, achieve objectives, and maintain a problem-solving goal given in an approach. The Scrum methodology is used in experimental design with explanatory scope and quantitative approach. In the data collection instrument, the quantum technology was applied using the SPS 23.12 programs after testing the reality of the measurement instrument with the homogeneity of the question with Cambridge alpha coefficient. Reliability of the measurement instrument with Cambridge alpha. Test out the pretest of the experiment group and out pretest post-pretest. It is seen that indicators, one is measurement instrument are close to being reliable, while indicators 2 and 3 highly reliable. The following spring one presentation of the consortium application, which means the defense engineering communication accompanied by the construction of comments, baseball, text and links, both design in core block. That will allow that person with hearing impairment to facilitate their communication and ear more work with the system as shown in Fig 4b. The advantage of having design and their respective letters on the keyboard of the application is that they become familiar with WhatsApp and can identify letters and signs at the same time. Ang Alpane Bandung that will connect in Bluetooth but will upset code 12342 application and at the same time be a YouTube device with a red that will stop flash when connected to signal like by physically formatting everything in figure 4C. And please start by turning on the Arduino program with for previous end. After connecting to the Arduino through the Bluetooth of the downwinds, the Bluetooth of the application in conjunction with the physical Bluetooth of the Arduino in Fig 6C and Fig 6D, it will be to Pursue the order without the need for the memory to fill up the result is very easy. Create a Bitcoin deletal bundle that deletes the previous letters on the play plus Bitcoin button that send what you want to show or not on the screen. Result and discussion. Indicator 1 according to its referential dimension figure 6 shows a similarity in the result obtained both in the press 6 and in post 60. The validity of average that does not favor the person with hearing impairment due to the descriptive analysis should end. This means that it does not facilitate the system or complicate communications and to survey read out for the respective verification. Indicator 2 according to interconfined site dimension, the result option should add minimal difference in 7. The average value in the present is 30 and in the process it is 60. Indicator 3 according to its self-referential dimension that deals with the survey just hearing results that are displayed in figure where is determined job dot analysis verified description show the value of the meaning in columns of the pretest fitted night and post test 60 billion opportunity to the audience person with disabilities to be able to have a present show. Understandably, thanks to the system improves its communication with the listener and facilitating a human offer more objectives and goals. Conclusion. Improve the process of communication with people during this disabilities sent to the initiative to develop this mobile application in Peru. Applying the system was determined a non-significant influence on the dimension. Reference with indicator visual recognition of media with means of the mean from pre-60 to post-60 in 3 experimental groups as observed significance means the system on no helpful for the there are of hearing person to your reference of thing or news. Be specific a significant influence in the referential dimension with its indicator of media recognition viewing people with average of the mean of pre-59 to post-60 inter-experimental growth according to what's observed significance. It means that this system here serves the fourth part of hearing personality severe to verify with person listener. It was established in significant influencing the self-referential dimension, UTI indicator, presentation of myself with me, origen from pre-59 to +60 in the group. Experimental according to what was observed, it means that resist is versus for the four further hearing person communicates with a hearing person. And I all thank you your attention.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I have no questions. I just think that this presentation is very important, and it's good to see that this type of research is being conducted in order to help those who have some sort of accessibility challenges. Thank you.
Thank you so much, presenter, and our session's here. Next, I would like to invite our next presenter, Zhenyu Liu, to present his paper on pedestrian detection based on infrared imaging through gradient transformation and deep learning. You may please present with your paper.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. First, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Lu Zhenyu from Shenzhen Institute of Advanced Technology, Chinese Academy of Science. My paper's title is Pedestrian Detection based on infrared imaging through gradient transformation and deep learning. My talk will be in 3 parts. First of all, I'll be presenting the recent pedestrian detection with infrared images, and we will analyze some situations such as high temperature occurs. Finally, we compare the result of a method and original data set and propose next research direction. Infrared thermal imaging technology is widely used in military night target recognition and missile tracking, civil fire monitoring, and disaster survival search. In the field of pedestrian detection of infrared image, it can improve the accuracy of pedestrian detection. It is of great significance to improve the efficiency of rescue and save time and other use. In recent years, with the emergence of various deep learning algorithms and improvement of computer power, the recognition of everyday image has reached a very mature stage. At the same time, many people use artificial intelligence to propose infrared images. For example, artificial intelligence can be used to recognize infrared small objects, and the RGB images and infrared images can be combined to obtain higher detection rate. However, many of the above process fail to take full advantage of the infrared image temperature information to improve the accuracy of infrared image detection. When the ambition temperature is high or complex, accuracy of pedestrian detection will be extremely poor. Here, we choose the combination of infrared image, grid stretch, and temperature information to pre-process the infrared image and then carry out the training and detection of the deep learning network. There are many known infrared image datasets, but many datasets do not contain infrared image temperature information. So we use our own dataset. Data connection was carried out twice, one in the afternoon and the other is evening, respectively in different parts of the campus, which fully guaranteed the diversity of data samples. We collected a total of 1,260 images. Each pixel of the image is 160 pixels wide and 120 pixels high. In this paper, we propose a new pedestrian detection mode based on infrared image. That is, infrared image is pre-processed to improve the image quality before target detection. We have designed 3 ways of image pre-processing in total, and object detection uses existing deep learning algorithm, fast RCN, We choose 3 methods from the grayscale transformation. They are linear stretch to remove high temperature, and S-shape nonlinear stretch. The following is a detailed description of the method. The gray stretch is used to emphasize the part of image. Gray stretch can improve the dynamic range of the image. The original low contrast image can be stretched into high contrast image. The first method is linear stretch. The first step to determine the node is to determine the lowest temperature Tmin and the highest temperature Tmax in the image. Then the 256 grayscale values are evenly divided into maximum and minimum temperatures. The specific formula is as follows. And in this formula, the G is the gray value of each pixel point. T is the temperature of each pixel point. As to the linear stretch to remove high temperature, if the image pixels value higher than 40 Celsius degree, then the gray level is set to 0. The specific algorithm is as follows. The G is the gray value of each point, and the T is the temperature of each pixel point. And the last is the S-shape nonlinear stretch. Here we will first get the image temperature range minus 13 Celsius degree to 350 Celsius degree divided into 0 to 255, a total of 256 degree value. The formula is as the formula 1. And in this formula, the R is the gray value of the corresponding pixels. T is the thermal images received temperature of corresponding pixels. And then we will use the formula 2 to get the grayscale stretch. And in this formula, the G is the gray value corresponding to each pixel point after stretch, and M is the center value of the gray stretch, and E is the slope of the gray stretch. Last is we use the formula 3 to make us grayscale to 0 to 255. And in this formula, the G is the gray value corresponding to each pixel, and the G is the gray value corresponding to the pixel points. And this figure is S-shape nonlinear stretch temperature gray curve. We use fast RCN. Fast RCN has been widely applied in the field of object detection. It is involved from fast RCN. On the basis of fast RCN, original purpose network is added, which completely combines original purpose and classification into sequence CNN. And it's an end-to-end model. The following will briefly introduce the implementation principle of RPN network. Original purpose network take an image as input and outputs a set of rectangular object purposes, each with an object needs a score. The regional purpose network is composed of fully connected networks that generates both regional boundary and objective scores as a location in a feature map. As in the figure, the network uses an end-to-end sliding window to transfer the entire convolution feature map, and each sliding layer window will obtain a low dimension feature. The feature is fed to sliding layers, box regression layer, and a box classification layer, respectively. In this experiment, a total of 3 group images, S-shape nonlinear stretch images, linear stretch images, and linear stretch to remove high temperature images were used. In each group, there were 831 images in the training data set and 429 images in the test set. The training network used a pre-trained model and a loss function of 3 different pre-processing methods attempt to coverage one 20,000 approaches occurred. In this table is the result of our experiment. What is different from the exception is that after model training, MAP was these three methods a little different, and the improvement of the latter two methods is not significant. After the analyzing the data set and the principal methods, we find that one of the reasons is that both the sample images, the data set do not have high temperature and complex environmental temperature. They only make up a small part of the data set, so the increase is not significant. For this reason, we specifically identify and compare some complex images separately. From the histogram in the right figure, it can be seen that the gray distribution of gray histogram after linear strength to remove high temperature and the S-shaped non-linear strength is obviously more uniform than that of gray histogram of linear stretch, and the gray distribution range is higher. From the perspective of imagined pedestrian characteristics of linear strength to remove high temperature and the S-shaped non-linear strength images are easier to be identified than those of linear strengths. Among them, the model of linear strength can only identify one person when two people are close to each other, and the S-shaped linear strength can easily identify two people in this figure. It illustrates this phenomenon well. When the temperature of environment is smaller, is similar to that of human, linear removal of high temperature model is prone to misjudgment. However, this is not the same case with S-shaped linear strength. This figure illustrates this phenomenon well. In fact, we found that S-shaped nonlinear strength has obviously advantage not only in the above situations, but also in the regression of frames. It closer to the ground truth because of low pixels of infrared image in data sets. It is difficult to show them in paper. Interesting scholars can check them by themselves. Through the above experiment, we can clearly understand that the combination of infrared image, gray strength, and deep learning pedestrian detection can achieve high accuracy. Gray strength can not only enhance the detection feature information of objects, but also affected by environmental temperature. Even in high temperature environment, when the ambient temperature difference is large or small, the model performance can also be very good, which has highly practical value. However, the sample changes in this experiment are not enough, so we plan to further expand the type and the number of samples in order to further improve the algorithm, and we will try other pedestrian detection network to continue our experiment. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation regarding infrared imaging. I'm just curious, did you by any chance compare the research that you've done with research related to LiDAR? As I understand it, infrared imaging is based on invisible light, whereas LiDAR is based on ultraviolet or visible light. Do you think the results would have been better if you had combined infrared imaging with LiDAR? Basically creating a fusion system, for instance.
If we combine the infrared image with LiDAR, I think it will improve the results of deep learning network. Yeah. Because in the research in the previous research, we found that if we combine the CCD camera with the infrared image, it will improve the accuracy of deep learning network. I think the radar in night, they also get the feature in the night, and they don't need the help of the sun or other light, and in night the infrared and the radar can do the same things. if we can combine both of them, I think we will get a better result.
Do you think it would be costly for a society to do this combination and to expand it to all cameras in a society, for instance, such as society in China?
You mean this plan is expensive or not? Yes.
Basically, I mean, if you would have to change all the cameras, all the systems in a big society, do you think it would be too costly to switch over from infrared imaging to a combination system such as infrared and LiDAR? And do you think that's the reason why they haven't done that shift, because it costs too much to do it?
The radar is very cost, but I think the infrared image not cost too much. Okay. And in the night, the infrared image have many advantages. They will not be watched by other people. Then they don't need the help of the light. And okay. If we use them, it's very secure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, presenter and our session chair. Next, I would like to invite Ramon L. Rodriguez to present his paper on sentiments analysis on the implementation of online learning in the Philippines using visual analytics. You may please start with your paper.
Yeah, good afternoon. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I mean, good morning in London, but in the Philippines, we have good evening. So it's already 6:36 here. So I think in London, it's almost 10. So good morning and good evening. Okay, so my name is Ramon. I'm from National University in Manila. So I'll be presenting our paper titled Sentiment Analysis on the Implementation of Online Learning in the Philippines using Visual Analytics. So my co-authors are Raymer, Pauline, and on behalf of them, I'll be presenting this paper on the 8th International Congress on Information and Communication Technology. So this is the agenda of my presentation. So I'll be talking about motivations of the study, background, methodology, results and discussions, and lastly, conclusions. Now, part of, So as we know that Twitter becomes the avenue for students to air their concerns, well, especially in the Philippines during the lockdowns. So we want to know the sentiments of Filipino students concerning the implementations of online classes. Since media outlets in the Philippines primarily featured students within Metro Manila regarding their hesitations towards the implementations of online learning. So they use usually Twitter as their venue to air their sentiments. So as for the background of the study, so the pandemic actually triggers the need. So I guess it's not only true to the Philippines, but to the global, to the interworld, the shift of modality for the academic institutions. So the pandemic has changed the interhumanity. So we know that. So face-to-face classes in the Philippines were suspended during the early months of the pandemic. And our goal for this study is to perform the contextual mining of text to identify the view or the sentiments of Filipino students, behind online learning. And we're using the social media platform, Twitter, to analyze the sentiment trend from the time of pandemic started to the year end of 2021. So sudden changes, of course, in the learning approaches has been implemented from, from the conventional face-to-face to online learning. Unfortunately, in the Philippines, most schools are unprepared for this setup. Maybe not only in the Philippines, but almost all over the world are unprepared for this pandemic. And with this, some universities and schools are unable to adapt to the shift and to the new normal in education immediately. So furthermore, students, particularly those in the remote areas, cannot find stable internet connections. So we look at the sentiment of the netizens or the internet users will be classified into positive, neutral, and negative polarities. So the study outcome can actually help the national government, private sector, and non-government units to discover new strategies, maybe improve crisis management and improve the quality of services, especially in the education domain. So for the methodology of this study, so as I've said, we were using the Twitter data. So we collected Twitter through academic research license. So we collected 1,912, on which 1,753 were used for visual analytics analysis. So these are the hashtag that we use for the collections. So no school fees, justice for students. So these are the walang iwanan in Filipino. So academic freeze now. So these are the keywords or the hashtag we use to collect the data. So part of the methodology is we download tweets and we manually clean them to exclude tweets unrelated to online learning. So with 1,912 downloaded tweets after the cleaning process, only around 1,753 were subject for annotation process. So we have 3 annotators. So these annotators are conscious and sensible, aware of the keywords. Meaning to say we train them to look at these are positive, these are negative, and these are neutral tweets. So the tweets were annotated based on the categories, as I've said, the positive, negative, and neutral. Now, for the results and discussions, as we saw here in the graph, so this figure sentiments of Filipino regarding the implementations of online learning caused by the COVID-19. So the study utilized the Twitter data as our source. Then the dashboard clearly shows the netizens or the internet users all over the country perceived negatively in the implementation of online learning in the country. It indicates that higher education institutions or schools were not prepared for online learning, even though digitalization was already in the country as early as 2000. So this year, e-learning is starting to become popular with a growing popularity in ICT in government and educations. But still, based on the data that we gathered, so still the negative, mostly students who have a negative sentiments on this. On the next figures, so this is the count of monthly trends based on the hashtag, so relative to online class in the Philippines. So it actually shows that the trend indicates that the number of tweets started by March 2021, in April 2021, so the tweet count rapidly grows by more than 1,000%. So 22 tweets from March, while 245 from April. So as per raw data, so 60% of April tweets have neutral sentiments with comment related to mass promotion or automatic passing grades for all students. So if you notice on September, so there's actually a very high in terms of negative. I mean, the negative represent the red one, then the neutral, that's actually the gray one. So yeah, the peak of the sentiment happened in September 2020, wherein 508 out of 679 expressed the adverse reaction due to the opening of the school year 2021-2022 within the online learning setup. In the Philippines, the opening of the semesters or the academic year happens in September. So primarily students really, are very reluctant because they think that almost universities are not prepared, but the government insisting to open the school year. So based on the tweet message, students were appealing to the government to freeze the academic period, feeling that the process is inefficient and not all can afford to buy gadgets for the online learning setup. So that's why in the previous graph, you will see that September has a higher negative sentiments from the students. So this is the graph we're in, the peak, because September is the opening of the class. So if you notice when we do the cloud, so you will notice that most students are trying to inform or trying to air their sentiments that they need an academic freeze. So mostly all of them, so they want to convey to the government that universities or higher education institutions are really not prepared to conduct online classes. So that's why they're trying to call for academic freeze. So part of that, so we try to map the sentiments throughout the Philippines. So mostly this actually red. So well, definitely that's negative sentiments. So most students are not really happy on the implementations of online learning, since I think universities or higher education institutions are not really prepared in terms of the implementations of online learning. So it's actually displayed the negative for the red, green for the positive, and gray for the negative sentiment. I mean positive sentiment. So most towns or cities have the red color with a very minimal green and gray. So there are also outliers on the heat map which reflect the blue color, which somehow outliers in terms of tweet. So there are towns with a low number of tweets with changes in the sentiment. So in conclusion, with the extremely high number of negative sentiments, so the study shows that students are unhappy with the setup. So for different reasons. So then the pandemic highlighted the schools in the Philippines were not prepared for ICT-based learning, despite the National Framework Plan for ICT from 2005 to 2010. So meaning to say we have a national policy existing from 2005 to 2010 to use the ICT or incorporate the information communication technology in schools. Despite that, universities or higher education institutions are not really prepared. So the need to strengthen the ICT infrastructure all over the country is urgent, simultaneously including technology in every institution. So these are my references. So thank you so much. And if you have questions, then I'm ready.
Thank you for the presentation. Very fascinating. I'm very much myself interested in online education, and also in a sort of way, since I did my PhD about co-creating democracy and empowerment. I think your research is a very good example of why we need to empower students in academia, because when you look at the research that you've conducted, they were somehow forced to go to a social network in order to express their discontent or their wishes to the government. But maybe that tells us something about the need that in the future, maybe we need an education platform where they can communicate directly with the university, and the university will lift this information, discontent, to the government. And if you look at today's learning management systems, they were previously designed in the 90s just to deliver content. They were not designed for social communication or interaction. And I think if we start investigating how could we envision a future where we have a social platform integrated in our education and in higher education, perhaps that will lead to better communication between the government and higher education institutions. So I think my question to you is, why has the infrastructure for the Philippines not arrived to a place or position where it allows students to access better online systems? Is it because of financial reasons, or do you have any idea?
Actually, because we know Philippines is a developing countries, and we have some cases wherein before 2005, so we have a plan, the digitalization plan, because that's as a national policy. But you know, we have some financial considerations, and it's very political. I mean, so they have a plan, but in terms of implementations, so yeah, so it's make very complex. Okay, because they have to, you know, to facilitate a loan with other countries and involved. Yeah, that's the, I mean, the corruption is there. So that's why there's a, you know, a accusations of corruption. That's why they stop it. They stop it. So that's actually the, I mean, the problem in terms of the infrastructure. So as early as 2010, so we should have the full, you know, the interconnectivity, because, you know, Philippines is an island. So we really need that infrastructure to really communicate and empower each city to make it more, you know, to not only in Manila, but other cities, so they can actually use technology in the classroom. So this is actually a national policy, as I've said, but because of some problems, political problems, corruptions problems, that's why the project were not pushed through.
Just a follow-up question. Does the entire country of Philippines use exactly the same learning management system? Do you have only one, or do you have multiple ones?
Well, it depends on the locations of the higher education institutions. In urban areas right now, so they have already the LMS, or the learning management platform. But in some, you know, rural areas, they're still using modular approach. So they, because they don't have the technology, so they're using a paper-based module for them to, you know, to really deliver the education. But in some urban areas, it's okay. But definitely in some remote areas, so we don't have the technology really. So, that's why we really have to plan, I mean, to really pursue on the creating infrastructures, the interconnectivity of the islands.
Yeah, good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, presenter and our session chair. Next, I would like to invite.
I think there is someone who had a question among the presenters here.
Yes, please.
The sound is not on.
You're on mute, I guess. Salma?
Anyone have any question regarding this presentation? You can ask.
Yeah, Salma seems to have a question, but you need to unmute because we can't hear you.
Yeah. Sorry.
Now.
Thanks for your presentation and interesting topic, Mr. So actually, I want to ask you, what's the kind of the technology you use in the Thai university right now?
Well, in my school, in my university, because we're located in an urban area, so we have that. We have definitely Blackboard is available. We have Microsoft technology for collaborations. But if we look at other schools in the Philippines, so they don't have the capability. So that's why they're really on the modular mode. So they develop modules, and the student actually study through modules. Or sometimes they're using the free Google and I mean free technology so that they can just post the content. I mean they develop videos then post it there. So it serves as a repository and the student will download it and maybe view it offline. Okay. But in the urban areas, we're good. We're good. I mean, we have the technology that are students can really use, especially for this year. So because pandemic teach really lessons for everyone. So we really need to invest technology. We shift. I mean the trust of education now, the higher education now today is shifting from the traditional mode to really a high blend mode. So we have now the so-called high blend. So classes were delivered traditional mode at the same time online mode. So they invested now to technology. So a lot of HCI now are actually investing to technology.
Thank you so much.
So we really learned from the pandemic. So that's somehow a good learning to this pandemic really. So that's why we're here online. So we can actually deliver or present our paper even online.
Thank you so much, presenter. So next, I would like to invite Norizan Anwar to present his paper on the integration between social media and customer relationship management, the reliability analysis. You may please start with your paper.
All right, thank you so much. Hold on, yeah. Okay, hello everyone. Hi, good evening from Malaysia. Yeah, my name is Norizan Anwar. So I'm on behalf of my team members, yeah, which is Muhammad Norman Masrik, Shamila, and also Johannes. So today, we would like to share with everyone here in this room. It's about the integration between social media and customer relationship management, CRM, so the reliability analysis. Okay, here are the guidelines, the outlines, basically what are the things that I would like to share with every one of you here. Okay, so as an introduction, I think talking about CRM, everybody knows what is CRM, and it's been using ages, by the organization in managing the customer information, customer loyalty, whatever related with customers, and then it started. Social media. Using social media dedicatedly for the individual needs, but then seeing the benefits of social media, organizations started to use or incorporate CRM, because they can learn and they can see what are the behavior, the demands from the customer. Okay, so back in year to 2020, statistics shows that the increment of people in the world using what I call that the internet, then active on the social media also, they can see the increase of the number, okay, year by year. Okay, so by utilizing this social media, it can manage and can see the influence of the organization to improve or to increase their performance, and then they also increase the customer engagement, and on top of that, they also values between the organization and the customer also being created. All right, so what motivates us to study or to investigate the relationship or the integration between social media and also CRM? First, like I see, even though most of organizations use CRM, for quite some time ago, however, it's also reported that CRM, having or facing a failure, then it's found that like 70% project resulted in loss. So that's other thing. I mean, to us, the reasons, behind of it, because the CRM is used basically just by keeping the customer information rather than doing some analytics, studying or investigate what are the customer behavior, the patterns and whatnot. And then second point, yeah, because we can see that very limited literature study this between these two, yeah, social media and the CRM, especially among what we call SMEs, company, yeah, small medium enterprise company. And of course in Malaysia itself, we can see very limited, and then all the literature that we found so far is mainly outside from Malaysia. So these three things motivate us, lead us to study further on between the integration between customer CRM and also social media. So as a literature review, yeah, we can see that the sustainability of organization is very crucial. As our friends previously presented on, the use of, online class, how the demands. I think the pandemic is, giving us open up a different perspective, globally, so we start purchase online, so everything is through online. So how the organization to sustain and how the organization to compete, because talking about, starting of the pandemic, in order for them to remain what I call that compatible, and then to remain relevant in the market is the most crucial to them. So due to that, they want to see what are the things to make them, relevant in the market. So of course they need to fully utilize social media. Okay, so due to that, we can see the social media able, to increase or to boost up the business performance. So as we know, social media is very convenient. I mean, you just name the age, yeah. Everybody have the social media account, basically talking about Facebook, Instagram, for example, yeah. So everybody, and then the advertisement in the social media seems like very relevant, and it's help the organization to improve their performance, yeah. So social media can not only giving the user, the customer, the view. I mean, they can, have a chat, can give a comments, and there's not only posting the picture, image. They also can post videos, and the most best part is the live. Okay. Then social media claim also to be can be a good marketing platform, yeah. So based on this, we can see that the customer relationship, yeah, orientation can be defined as, not only keeping the information of the customer, but we need to enhance the use of it, and beyond, do some analytics or analysis on the customer behavior pattern prediction, and so that the organization can strategize their products or services for their respective customer. Okay, so due to here, yeah, our studies, mainly we do among SMEs, which are located in Klang Valley in Malaysia. So Klang Valley, basically we cover Selangor, and then Kuala Lumpur, Cyberjaya, and also Putrajaya. All right. So we focus only several sectors, yeah, such as food and beverages, and also textile. Why we only pick these two sector? Because it seems like, and it looks like, these two sectors highly use social media, yeah, in promoting their products and services. So that's why these two sectors become our main selection. Okay, and also part of that, they are also the most extensive use the social media. And then the questionnaire, basically we adopt and adapt from Riemann, yeah, 2009, and Tasako, and also Sharon Mokal. So sorry, Mokal. Sorry if I pronounce it incorrectly. All right. So we modify and make sure it suits with our nature and language and background of our respondents. Okay. So based on the finding, first, we analyze the demographic. So we also capture the years of existence in the business. We can see here, majority is 5 years below, yeah, with 35%. And then the sector between these two, food and beverages, is the highest, yeah, with 87.5%. And then years of using social media as their marketing experience in their business, again, they are 5 years and below, okay, with 60%. Okay, then what are the social media accounts that they, maintain or they use? Okay, we can see obviously Facebook and Instagram it's highly being used, yeah, with 38 and 24 respectively. Okay, talking about the reliability, okay, these are the variable and the dimensions that been used in order for us to measure and study our research. So it shows that all the Chromebook alpha value is above 0.6 as been suggested by Nanali. Yeah, so due to this, we can proceed our questionnaire, our research for our data collection. Okay, so as a discussion and conclusion, so it's clearly showing that the study did not seems to have any problem. Yeah, in fact, because we can see the reliability test. I mean the Chromebook alpha value is quite good. Yeah, my SMEs. Yeah, it's just that the challenge obviously the data collection run during the pandemic, so we need to call and I mean when we have the phone number, but of course the phone number is office number, so no one at office, so we need to email them one by one and get them to respond to our questionnaire. And then based on that also we can see that our questionnaire does not need to any amendments, yeah, as the BioVillage study shows no flaws. Yeah, the number, I mean the Chromebook alpha value also it's really satisfied us, yeah, surpass the recommended value. And then it shows also that the reliability analysis of our independent variable and dependent variable are accepted. Yeah, like I say, due to the cutoff point value is surpassed as suggested by Nanali. So yeah, that's why we able to proceed with our main study. So these are some of the references that we use basically. So with that, I end my presentation with thank you. Yeah, back to the chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation. Very interesting research. I'm just wondering about the division of social media networks in your research. According to the table you presented, it seems that 70% of the participants come from Facebook and Instagram, and Facebook, Instagram is owned by Facebook. So do you think there might be, when you're about to conduct the main study later on, do you see any issues in the data representation of having just 2 social networks being the majority of your data results?
Okay, right. Okay, we are not surprised to see that too. I mean, as the mainstream of the social media platform being used, because when we refer to the hot suite, yeah, which done research globally on what are the social media platform highly being used in the world globally, and in fact in Malaysia, and it's also clearly mentioned that Facebook and Instagram is the highest number or frequency that people use, their preference nowadays. So that's why I guess with this, that's the reason why the organization prefer to maintain or use these 2 platforms in order for them to do their marketings and promotion and whatnot.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, presenter, and our sessions here. I sincerely thank our author for their excellent presentation in the session and all our participants for being a part of this conference. I hope this session was knowledgeable enough for you all. On behalf of our whole team, thank you for the support during this 8th version and the previous 7th version. And we will be happy to have you in 9th version in 2024. All the presenters would be getting their digital certificate through email within 2 working days. Further, all the papers have already been forwarded to the Springer. The publication will be live within 6 months. Kindly cooperate with the team of ICICT 2023. I want to thank our session chair, Monthata Farron, for chairing the session. And this is a token of appreciation to the chair on behalf of our whole ICICT 2023 team and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partners. Thank you so much, sir. and to all the
Thank you so
participants
much.
for your valuable presence. In the end, I kindly request you to all to switch on their cameras for a quick snapshot of this virtual conference.
I just want to say thank you, Mansi, for that appreciation. It's highly appreciated. And to all the presenters, I had a really pleasure listening to all the research as well. And if anyone want to be in contact, please feel free to add me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to continue the discussions there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, and all the presenters. Stay happy, stay safe.